Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a huge idea, one that might just flip the way you think about you. We're diving deep into the illusion of the self.
Okay, think about this for a second. You feel like there's a you in there, right? A single, solid person sitting in the cockpit of your body, looking out through your eyes. It feels completely 100% real. But what if that feeling is just an incredibly convincing story? A beautiful illusion your brain cooks up to make sense of the world.
So, to be super clear, when we say the self is an illusion, we're not saying you don't exist. Your memories, your personality, your unique likes and dislikes, all of that is definitely real. The illusion is more subtle. It's that feeling of being a solid, unchanging little person inside your skull. A driver who is separate from the car, who's authoring all your thoughts and making all the decisions. To really get a handle on this, we need a new way to picture it. So let's try this on for size. You're a wave, not a rock. Intuitively, most of us feel like a rock. You know, solid, separate from our surroundings, and pretty much the same from one day to the next. The me from 10 years ago feels like the same fundamental me as today. But a much more accurate picture is a wave. Think about it. You can point to a wave, you can give it a name, but it isn't a thing. It's a process. It's a pattern that water is moving through. And that's you. You're a continuous, ever-changing process of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. The big takeaway here is that you're not really a noun. You're more like a verb. You're an event, a happening, not a static object.
And hey, this isn't just some philosophical hand-waving. Modern neuroscience is actually starting to show us how the brain pulls off this amazing trick. The evidence is pretty mind-blowing.
So check this out. In one study, they put people in a brain scanner, an fMRI machine, and gave them a dead simple choice. Either add or subtract two numbers. By just looking at the activity in their brain, the scientists could tell what the person was going to choose. But here is the crazy part. The scientists knew the choice up to 4 seconds before the person consciously felt like they had made the decision. Just let that sink in. Your brain activity shows your decision, and then a whole 4 seconds later, the you that you think of as you gets the news. It's like your conscious self isn't the one in charge, it's just getting the press release. So how does the brain actually build this sense of self? Well, a key piece of the puzzle is a brain system called the default mode network. The easiest way to think about it is as your brain's me network. It's the part that's humming along when you're daydreaming, thinking about your past, worrying about your future, basically any time you're telling yourself the story of you. And this is where it all comes together. When your default mode network is running on high, you feel that solid, separate sense of me. But have you ever been so focused on something you lost track of time, like in a flow state? Or maybe during meditation? Well, in those moments, your DMN quiets down. And what happens? People all over the world report the same thing. That rigid feeling of self just fades. The boundary between you and the world gets blurry. Okay, so this is all really interesting, but why does it matter in your actual life? Because realizing this isn't just a fun brain teaser. It's a seriously powerful and liberating tool. There's real freedom to be found here.
Ask yourself this question. Would you get genuinely angry at a tornado? Would you blame it for what it does? Of course not. You understand it's a natural process driven by causes. So, what if we started looking at ourselves and other people with that same understanding?
This change in perspective is a game changer. So instead of feeling anger and thinking, I am angry, which completely fuses you with the emotion, you can step back and say, a feeling of anger is arising in me. It creates this little pocket of space. And instead of looking at someone who hurt you and labeling them a bad person, you can ask, what is the process that led them to do this? This doesn't mean you excuse what they did, not at all. It just shifts you from useless blame to a much more useful search for causes. And the practical benefits are just huge. You can learn to sit with really difficult emotions without getting swept away by them. You can dramatically cut down on pointless anger and blame. It can even lead to smarter, more compassionate ways of dealing with people who cause harm in the world. And honestly, by letting go of that hard, sharp line between me and the world, you might just feel a whole lot more connected to everything. So we'll leave you with a final thought to mull over. If you really are a process, a constantly changing wave in the ocean of the universe, then where exactly does you end and the rest of the world begin? That line might not be nearly as solid as it feels.
Thank you for watching. The core idea is simple. The sense of a fixed, separate self is an illusion. We're not solid objects, but flowing processes, more wave than rock. When we see emotions as passing events, not who we are, we create space. This doesn't excuse harm. It aims to understand it. And that shift softens anger, deepens compassion, and connects us more fully to life.